Beyonce has just released an epic visual album called Black is King, and whether you're a Beyonce fan or not, you have to agree that this is absolutely a masterpiece. If you have had the opportunity to watch this film, and like me, you are intrigued to understand the symbolism and the meaning behind it, then you are in the right place, because I will be breaking this down. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched it and you don't want to ruin it for yourself, I suggest coming back later. You are listening to Opinionated Olivia, where I talk about whatever I want. If you like what I have to say, give me a cheeky little thumbs up, and a subscription will not go amiss. Now let's get into this. Right, so Black is King is a conceptual retelling of Lion King. It depicts a young African king's journey through betrayal, loss, love and self-identity as his ancestors guide him through the way. Yeah, so basically this is a journey of self-discovery. If you are familiar with Lion King, you can already see the parallels here with Simba. And although this isn't like for like, we can see the similarities with Simba. Simba goes through a journey, he finds himself, he faces adversities, and at the end we see him become the king of the pride. The idea of self-discovery is really personified by the way that actors all cover their eyes. Beyonce wants them to remove their veil to see their greatness and see who they are, to find themselves. Right, so I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. I definitely think there's similarities to the whole African American experience of not knowing their culture, their background, their identity, because this was taken away when they came over as slaves. And you know, you don't call me opinionated Olivia for nothing. In my opinion, this was definitely a calculated move by Beyonce. She wants us to think about the bigger picture. And obviously the whole African American experience is also her experience. Just some food for thought. Throughout the film we see a bluey green man. We see him pop up several times. So we could say that he's a spirit guide. Blue represents love, harmony, togetherness and peace. I do believe the blue man is the spirit guide, and he's guiding the king through his journey. So the guy is the colour of Haint Blue, which by itself has a deeper meaning beyond the spiritual. Haint Blue has a lot of meaning in African culture, although it varies from country to country. It was first used by enslaved Africans to mimic the sky and trick ghosts into passing. When the enslaved Africans arrived to the US, they used this colour to paint the ceilings of their slave quarters, but then the slave owners used the slaves to create the dye, which they would use in their homes, and we can see this commonly throughout Georgia, and they have the hate ceilings on their porches. So we see something that was created by the Africans was taken by the slave masters and then used for their own purposes. I strongly believe Beyonce has chosen this colour to gain back power for her enslaved ancestors. So if the blue guy is a spirit guide, similar to Rafiki in Lion King, then Beyonce's role is mother. Similarly to the spirit guide, we see her appear throughout the film. Beyonce references Otan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is a Yoruba goddess of fertility and rivers. Yoruba is a Nigerian tribe, and we can see Beyonce's paying homage to her African roots. In the opening scene we see a river, and then we also see a line of women wearing green who are mimicking the river. The meaning of green is life, fertility and nature. The river represents fertility, emotion and transformation. We also see a basket in the river. It's safe to say that this river is most likely the River Nile, which is one of the largest rivers running through Africa. There are parallels here with the prophet Moses, who was put in a basket by his family as a baby because the Pharaoh of Egypt wanted all firstborn sons to be killed. And then, long story short, Moses led the Jews out of slavery in Egypt and led them to the Holy Land that God had promised them. Through Moses' life, he faced adversity. He didn't know who he was, but he was a prophet of God, and then he managed to reach his greatness and his potential. Just like Simba in Lion King, and just like the young king in Black is King. Right, so back to the opening scene. We see Beyonce at a beach in front of an ocean. An ocean means obstacles. She's with a baby, and it looks like there's a ceremony taking place underneath a full moon. The symbolism of the moon is very important here. The moon controls the tide and water, and we heard a voice earlier say, we are all connected, and this is true with the moon. But the moon has a greater significance here. A full moon symbolises height of power, realisation of your desires, and a peak of clarity. The significance is Beyonce looking as though she's preparing a child for a journey, just like Moses' mum gave him up to save his life. Beyonce then goes on to say, the great kings were here long before us. Here she's talking about her ancestors. They were kings, so this means he's also a king. It runs through his bloodline. We see Beyonce give him a necklace. This is to symbolise that his ancestors will be with him along his journey, and he has a piece of home with him throughout his way. The boy is then catapulted into Earth like a shooting star. We see him spinning whilst he's on his journey. This represents time changing. Then he lands in a new world, an unfamiliar territory, and then the boy must continue his journey. When he arrives in a new world, he's presented with the question, who are you? This is a question of who he is, but he doesn't know who he is. He's a stranger in a new world. Again, we see parallels here with slaves taken from their home in Africa into the new world of America. But he must go on to find himself and find out who he is in this new world. On his journey, he's presented with danger. we see Beyonce dressed similar to the devil. Her outfit choice here is very interesting. I believe she's taken inspiration from the Mercy women from Ethiopia. However, it's also debatable whether she's taken inspiration from the Zulu tribe from South Africa. Let me explain why I believe she's taken inspiration from the Mercy women of Ethiopia. The Mercy women are known for their striking use of lip plates in their bottom lip, but just like Beyonce, they wear horns in their hair, and we see Beyonce holding a traditional smoking pipe. But then again, the cow print relates more to the South African Zulu tribe. The Zulu make their ceremonial shields out of cowhide. And across many countries in Africa, cow print represents cattle, which means wealth. Traditionally, it has been used as a form of currency. And you know, the more cattle you have, the wealthier you are. So quickly back to the horns. In many African countries, horns represent power and hope. Wealth is represented in the form of the white people serving Africans. Beyonce has really flipped things on its head. The colours we see represent royalty and celebration. Then we move on to see Beyonce and her dancers wearing outfits which are covered in a crescent moon. Again, we are seeing the moon used as symbolism. The crescent moon means birth cycle, fertility, and represents womanhood. During a vibrant performance of My Power, the camera hovers above in intervals, showcasing a mix of markings and body shapes that represents the Adinka symbol. The symbol was created by the Guyana people, and it means wealth or abundance. Again, these two themes are focused on heavily throughout the whole film. Beyonce is reconfirming the fact that the African culture is rich in history. One of my favourite visuals was the striking performance of the black men, wearing suits recreating the East African traditional dance, the jumping dance, which is performed by the Maasai people, and I'm really sorry if I'm butchering these names. The Maasai people originate from Kenya and northern Tanzania. The iconic jumping is usually done in circles as a form of competition to see who can jump the highest. As you can see now, the African roots are really coming into focus. This is showing the circle of life and everything is connected. We see Beyonce shown as Ocean, which is represented with the peacock. Ocean is the Yoruba goddess for fertility and rivers. If you don't know already, Yoruba is a Christian tribe in Nigeria. We really do see a focus on fertility during the film, and I think this is because it's showing a circle of life. Without women, there would be no life. We also see the imagery of Ifa, along with Beyonce explicitly describing herself as Sister Yoruba Osa, Queen of Sheba, I am Mother. Ifa represents love, water, sensuality and fertility. Again, these are common themes throughout the film. There is literally so much to dissect from this whole film. It's absolutely amazing. I think that Beyonce's really thought about it in depthly. I could go on for ages talking about the meaning behind everything, but I would also love to hear you guys' opinion on this because, I mean, it's brilliant. The film is so rich with African culture and heritage. We even see Beyonce wearing a head wrap, which is traditional of West African, especially in Nigeria and Ghana. We even see Beyonce's hair braided like the women of Congo. I mean, she really has done her research and she knows her stuff. But I mean, Beyonce is receiving some feedback. Some people have gone on to say that it's cultural appropriation. I mean, I will touch upon it because I do think they have some valid points. Throughout the film, the African heritage is shown as wealthy, and obviously Beyonce is a billionaire, so she's really, I guess she's romanticising the idea that all Africans are rich. Also, not all Africans were kings. I mean, there was a lot of kingdoms in the whole continent of Africa which it was built on, but not every single African is royalty. It's a nice idea, it's a nice thought, but that just isn't the truth. I personally wouldn't go as far to say that it's cultural appropriation. I mean, the African culture is part of Beyonce's heritage at the end of the day. And I think she's really celebrating African culture. She's paying homage to it. She's actually educating people through her visuals. People go in to research this to find out what all of this means. Just that's why you're here today. Look, personally, I think this is a wonderful piece of art. I think Beyonce's really created such a visual masterpiece. I think we should celebrate it. We shouldn't criticize it too much because, I mean, I don't see the point. If anything, this has really been an eye-opener and it's been really educational. And I do agree that she's taken bits of all different elements of different countries in Africa. And some people think Africa is a country as a whole, but between the south, the west, the north, the east, there's so many different cultures within that. But I also would argue that Beyonce is African American. She might not know where her whole family tree comes from in Africa, so she's exploring Africa as a whole, and I don't think we should knock that. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to leave it here, and I'd just like to say, if you're still here, watching my video at this point, I really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up and a subscription. I'm trying to grow my channel. I am new to YouTube, but I really do enjoy making these videos. I do hope you enjoyed it, and have a lovely day. Bye for now.